Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Ruel Gaviola. This is Tabletop Tonight, the AM edition here on the West Coast, and also the Top 10 Games edition. I usually call this Ruel's Wrap-Up, where I look back at the games that I played in the previous month, and that's what I'm continuing to do here, but I wanted to focus more on the top 10 this time around. But welcome. I want to say hello to Slivers, Corthane, to live nice in LA, Giggles, and Corthane again. Hello. Welcome. I also want to shout out Akiro, the dad, for following. And folks, if you've never been here before, we do analog alerts like Felicia the follow fish. Felicia shows up whenever there's a new follower. She swims around, then she swims away, and all of us, including y'all in chat, we say, bye, Felicia. Thanks for the follow, Akira the dad. And Dwalzi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, friends. Thank you for the bye, Felicias. And yeah, to live with nice in LA, I know it's... Michelle and I were just talking, it's like, how can it be June already? It's halfway through the year. This is insane. So I figured, hey, it's halfway through the year. Why don't I try something new? So what I'm trying to do here, I'm taking a page out of my friend Rahdo's playbook. I'm going to start a podcast here. It's going to be called Tabletop Tonight, the podcast. Very, it took me a long time to think of that name. Obviously, it's very unique, right? But I'm going to record this, as we do here. I'm going to live stream it here on Twitch, and then I'm going to strip out the audio and upload it as a podcast. So I'll have to do some editing, which is not my skill set. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to try to, put some fancy music in there and all that. We'll see how it goes. But I want to do something where, I do this one monthly, and then I'll do at least one more show during the month. So it's going to be about a bi-weekly podcast. So I haven't really figured out the days. And by the way, I just thought of it. I've been thinking about this for a little while, but I figured this weekend, I was like, you know what, let's just do it. I started planning it. I'm like, let's just jump into it and we'll figure it out as we go. So, as I start here, I will, just going to hang out as we normally do here on Monday mornings, chat. Let me know what y'all played or what you're up to. Also, first day of the week, important. It's, we got to talk about stream sex. What are you eating and or drinking during the stream? And then I'll go into the top 10 and more. It's basically Ruel's wrap up, but I'm trying to rebrand it, right? As, I don't know, maybe I'll stick with the Ruel's wrap up, but I do want to focus on the top 10 games that I played. But Fancy Music said, like a book and Earth ditty. That would be fun. I would love to have John do a ditty here. Maybe we should get him here and spend some channel points. And I wonder how many points it'll take for me to get John to come visit the studio. Let's see, Tabletop Tonight, today, the podcast, the movie. Yes, totally going to do the Spaceballs routine, Dwalzi. I think that would be hilarious. Tabletop Tonight, the movie, the podcast, the live show, the recorded videos. I don't know. I'm just winging it, folks. Corthe says, usual for this early hour, coffee with more coffee. Yes, coffee followed by coffee. That is always a good thing, especially on a morning, Monday morning. And to Live in Ice in LA talks about how their pandemic baby is almost 2 years old. That's amazing. I was just talking to my friend. Michelle and I are godparents to our friend's daughter, and our goddaughter is also a pandemic baby, and she's about almost 3, I think. But they were talking about how they have to take in consideration. I mean, she is a pandemic baby, so just the socialization is a lot different than we were coming up as kids. So that's we're gonna hopefully see them not this week but next week, and because we haven't seen our goddaughter in months, and I feel bad about that. But we've all had things going on. Just life. So anyways, I missed anything so far? No, Gizmo, you were here. James just showed up. Hello, James. Good to see you. I'm going to be doing my top 10 games of last month. This is Ruel's wrap up, where I just talk about the games I played in the previous month. And then this time I'm trying to put more of the focus on the top 10. And what I'm doing is I'm going to be taking out the audio of this and download it, upload it. I don't know what I'm going to do, and make a podcast out of it, and taking a page out of Rahdo's book, where I live stream something and then put it in podcast form, which is what he does with almost everything he does besides the run throughs. I mean, he does his podcast. He actually does a podcast where he answers questions. So if you would be so inclined, friends, join the Discord if you haven't already. Where is the Discord button? There it is. There's the link. And I think I'll start another channel for Tabletop Tonight, the podcast, and we'll stick with that name until we figure something else out. But I think I may stay with that. I'll start another channel if you could, if you'd love to, talk about whatever. I'll start a channel. We could drop questions there. Or if you could drop questions here too, I'll just save them for next time. Or maybe I'll answer them here. Why don't we do that? I'll do my list, and if y'all want to drop questions, put them in chat, and then I will highlight them. Let me get the little feature chat thing going here. I can highlight those questions, and then answer them at the end, as long as we have time. I'm trying to stick to about the 1 hour format here. I don't want to go too long, especially for podcasts. Like I find myself, I mean, so many people do the longer form podcast, which is great. Me personally, especially as just me myself, I just stick around 30 to 45 minutes, about an hour at most, just because my voice gets trashed and I get, I get tired. I'm old, folks. Jason, have you tried out the Paperback 2 app yet? No, I haven't. Played it a lot over the weekend with my sister. Also played it solo using Paperback. I've not tried it yet, James. I started sending out codes. I started sending out games from Gaviola Game. I mean, our 2-year anniversary last Monday. I just started. I was overwhelmed with DMs and stuff. I just put it off till this weekend, and I just started last night. And I'm about halfway. Yeah, I think my list is about halfway done of sending out codes and also sending out info to publisher for games. And last night, I literally fell asleep. I was just, typing away here, and I had to check this morning. I hope I didn't send any, emails that were, a bunch of gobbledygook, but so far it seems okay. Anyways, I have not played. I'm looking forward to it though, James. How are you liking it? Tilvin Nelly says, I play a lot of solo of the app too. Oh, I'm playing against the AI. The first paperback I did. The second one I haven't touched yet, so I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Slivers, for a reminder to hydrate. Folks, hydrate with me. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump right into this. I want to start recording the podcast. And what I'm going to do, I will go through the top 10 games. And, I'll start with, I played 17 different games last month. Fewer than the previous month. In April, I played, I think, like 20 something. This time I didn't play as many. I played some several times. And as you'll see, we'll talk about that there. GB Glazer says, duration all depends on content. Deep dive of complex subject warrants long form. Absolutely, yeah. Most things board game related don't need multi-hour cover. I totally agree with that, GB Glazer. As much as I enjoyed the Secret Cabal, I think they're great. I think their chemistry is great. I enjoy listening to them. I can only it's usually like 3 hours. I couldn't do it anymore. I listened to it for I didn't listen to all the episodes, but a good chunk in the early times. I did listen to them, but there was just a point. I'm just like, yeah. I maybe if I knew them personally, that'd be different. I do appreciate the chemistry and stuff, but I found myself fast forwarding a lot. That show, again, nothing. They're a wonderful podcast. I'm not taking nothing away from them, but for my taste personally, I'd rather listen to a 30, 45-minute podcast, just on the games and stuff. And there's other content that I consume, right, where I feel like. For like with live streams, I really enjoy the live stream format, watching and producing, of course, and watching as well. I just feel like for me, it's just a little more natural. Now, podcasts, they do have the advantage of, you can edit down and stuff. So that's one thing. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. This is the first time I'm trying it. I'm just going to, maybe I'll edit later. Probably not. I don't know. Thank you, Gizmo Bear. Yeah, Team MGG. Yeah, this is Master Goblin Games. They are a retailer. Slowly but surely open up a bunch of stores around the U.S. right now. We don't have one locally yet here in this part of Southern California, but I know that they are planning some expansion. They have one in was it like San Francisco, Portland, I believe. They're popping up everywhere, and I got to meet the owner of the company last year at Gen Con. Bonzinator, everyone I'm sure here knows Bonzinator. She works for them now. Excuse me. And we actually partnered with them through Tabletop Live Network, which was great. They're just really a cool company. They're just trying to get more games out there. They're one thing that I really appreciate about them, they're not looking to take over any particular city for their gaming scene. They want to be part of the community. They're not looking to put little mom and pop stores out of business. It's not a chain or a franchise, from what I understand. This the person who owns it is just opening up stores everywhere. They have the means to do that. So yeah, I'm excited because I didn't wear this shirt during our Tabletop Live Network podcast. It was dirty at the time. It's clean now, and it's one of the few shirts that they have out right now. I was very lucky at Gen Con. They, produced a very limited run. I got one, and I think they're in the process of making more shirts now. So I'm wearing this with, I'm super excited. I love the little logo, their little goblin, and there is a story behind that too. And I think Bonds has probably talked about it on her live stream. So, anyways, why don't we jump into it, folks? Again, let's hang out and talk games. I'd love to hear what you played as well, what your favorites are from the last month, or even recently, or a long time ago. And we'll talk about that after. So I'm going to set this up. We're going to do the top my list here, go through them. Then afterwards we'll do some Q&A as well. Gizmo says Secret Cabal is pretty good for our 3-hour drive. Yeah, that's another thing too. When I commuted more, I'm working from home now. I have for the last few years, but when I was commuting, back and forth, and there was times when I'd have to make the trek out to LA, which is far from where I am, especially with traffic. Secret Cabal was perfect for that. And again, I totally, I am a fan of their podcast. But now that I don't, drive as much, I just don't listen to many podcasts. Now I did get out to LA yesterday I went to a friend's baby shower, and I got to, I was going to do the a board game podcast to listen to, but I changed it up. I actually got a copy of Danny Trejo's autobiography, the audiobook version. Danny Trejo, the actor, and it's so fascinating. He actually reads the audiobook, so he's got, if you know Danny Trejo, he's been in all these movies. Machete, he was like the star of that. He's been in everything, and he's got that really distinct gravelly voice, the voice of someone that's been through a lot in his lifetime. And as a voice, listening to his voice, I mean, you hear it's totally Danny Trejo, but you could, he's not a trained, I don't think he's like a trained voice actor. So I mean, to me it feels like he's just, he's looking at the page, whereas some voice actors, they really, there's a way that they do that, really brings you in the narrative and stuff. But I was okay with it. I mean, he's just to hear his story. I mean, he was, drug addict, gangster, grew up in, rough parts of LA and did a lot of stuff back in the day. And he's pretty candid about what he did. Served time, I mean, hard time in, some of the most notorious prisons in California, Soledad, San Quentin, Chino. He's done some stuff. So I listened to the first part on my drive out to LA and back, and now I just started the second part, and it's really, it's fascinating. So the part that I'm on, he's out of prison now, and he's trying to get his life together, and he's starting to go to meetings, he was like a heroin addict, folks. I mean, so he's kicked the heroin part in this part of the book, and it's such a fascinating story. Here's a guy that just, got caught up in, doing all kinds of bad stuff, and eventually turned his life around. So it's really cool. Good morning, a Hornist and Softener Razor. Hello. Good to see you. James played some Paperback, Project L, Cribbage, and Quirkle. Oh, nice. Yeah. I'm still trying to get, I talked to someone about Project L, and was hoping to get it shipped out here, but that hasn't happened yet, so that's a bummer. Hopefully soon. Okay, we're going to start talking games, or I'm going to start talking about games, and y'all, thank you again for hanging out with me today. Let's hydrate. Let's do this top 10 games. Excuse me. Games of May. Let me see if I can go over here. All right, I've got this. Where are my rankings? Okay, rankings. There they are. Okay, cool. So yeah, you know what's first here, so... Okay, so friends, thank you for joining me today. This is Tabletop Tonight, Ruel's wrap-up. I am going over the top 10 games I played in May and starting, but I'm going to go more than that. I'm going to be talking about all the games that I played. I played 17 different games this month. Each of them I played several times, or actually, I should take that back. Most I played several times. Other ones I've only played twice, and there may be a gamer here that I only played once. But we're going to look back at it. I ranked them all. Like I say every month, and when I do this, I've enjoyed all the games I've played. I don't think I've, knock on wood, I don't think I've come across one that I have not liked yet since I started doing these wrap-ups. I'm very fortunate. Now, I do pick and choose what I decide to play for, here on Twitch, on live stream, and I also, you know, the games that I play off camera, they're most likely going to be something I enjoy. You know, I've gotten to that point after, you know, being in the hobby many years that I'm going to stay away from the games I know are not going to be my jam. And but if I do, you know, I'm always up to play a game, but I will try to focus on the ones that I think I would enjoy or my gaming group would enjoy. Okay, so let's start with number 17, a dice flick. This one I played during a Gaviola game night with Amanda, and that's actually Amanda taking a shot there. It's a fun little dexterity game, set collection game. You are flicking different colored dice. You just grab them out of a bag randomly. You have 3 dice. You're going to shoot 2 of them in there, just like Amanda's doing. And then as you go about there, you're going to try to get them in rows or groups of 2 or 3 or more, and then you're going to score the pips, and the most points wins. There are some special dice that come into play, like no, that's not the one I have there on the camera there. That's a yellow die. But there's a special die, I think it's the pink one, where it has different abilities where you're going to score rows immediately that don't have to have the same color or be in a group. And yeah, you're just going to score the most. It's a fun little flicking game and very light, but I enjoyed it. So that's our number 17 from Pegasus Spiel, designer Rami Gaber. Is it Gaber or Gaber? I don't know. So I'm butchering names. I'm sorry. But let's move on to our number 16, which is by Felicia. I was so excited to finally play this with Michelle and Lauren. We did this during our 2-year anniversary show. I got to shout out Tommy Miller Jr. He sent this game to us over a year ago when we were doing we started our channel. Actually, I mean, it might have been year 1 that he sent it. But he just said, you know, hey, I thought this would be a fun game for y'all to play on stream. And, you know, we started focusing more on 2-player and 1-player games on the channel because Lauren was out adulting. She completed her studies at UCLA, and she's adulting, so she doesn't have as much time anymore to join us for games. But when she does, it's always a special moment, and this one is hilarious. As you can see there, you have a timer. You have 30 seconds to write. Depending on what you roll, you're going to roll a die, pick that category, and then all of you know, write as many games you can, or as many things that match the topic as possible. It's almost like a reverse categories, and you just go around and you say one of your things off your list, and if anyone has one of yours on your list, you're still in the round. If no one matches with you, bye Felicia, you're out of the round, and the last person standing gets a point. And you just go 3 times around till everyone's had 3 categories in front, or 3 chances, I think, to pick a category, and then just most points win. It's a simple party game, but oh boy, it's fun. I played this with Michelle and Lauren, and I also played it off camera with Book of Nerds, Amanda Panda, and Lorena, and Sir Bearsworth. We had a lot of fun, and Lorena really took a lot of pleasure in saying bye Felicia. So yeah, and I think they might have picked up a copy of it right after we played. So it's available in most Targets, I believe. And you know, fun fact for you folks, if you go to Target and you sort of poke around, sometimes they have a clearance section. You can find these games. You can find board games for cheap. I've gotten a lot of great deals at Target, and I love the fact that they still have, you know, they have not only these party games, but they have a lot of different strategy games that you can pick up for pretty inexpensive prices. So that's my number 16 by Felicia. The next up, number 15, is Tapple. Hey, here's a game from the Op, and yet another one we played on Gaviola game night. Oh no, not Gaviola game night, the 2-year anniversary. There's a little Tapple machine. It's not really a machine, but it does have a battery in it, and it just makes sounds basically as you go. You have like 10 seconds to think up, and there's yet another fun party game where you pick a random category on the card. You have 10 seconds to say something related to that card. So if it was like food, you have the letters there on the Tapple. Food, you say pasta, you press P, and now the next person goes. They have to pick up food, but they cannot say a word that starts with the letter P. So you're going to go around and around until one person's left standing. You have 10 seconds to do it. If you don't hit the little timer, it buzzes and you're out of the round. It just continues. Another fun game. I actually, you know, this one's been around since 2012. So 10 years. It's uncredited, unfortunately. I don't know in BGG, they did not have a designer listed. So I remember seeing this game back in the Philippines when I visited back in, I think, 2018 for my parents' 50th anniversary. I went to a random, board game cafe in the Philippines, and they had this, and I was like, oh, that looks fun. I mean, I just saw the group that they were playing. They were just loving it. They're really, I mean, it was just very animated. I was like, it always stuck in the back of my mind. And then recently we partnered with the op, and I had them send out. We were doing a partnership for one of the games that I'll talk about soon, but I also had them send out a copy of Tapple, and boy, I'm happy they did. It's a fun, another word-based party game, and just the nice little gimmick of the little Tapple machine. Okay, number 14. Let's continue the countdown here. Yahtzee Cup Noodles. Wow, I played a lot of games from the op this month or last month. This is Yahtzee, folks. All they did was change up the numbers on the dice to look like little food and little bits and pieces that you would have in your cup of noodles. Like you can see there, I am gathering. I had a full house there. 2 carrots and 3 chickens. So you obviously can have chicken flavored cup noodles, and you can have little dehydrated carrots, which you rehydrate when you cook it. And it's the classic Yahtzee. Roll up to 3 times, saving any symbols. Oh, I decided not to go for the full house there. I am re-rolling them. And it's basically what, any... Oh, wow, I got a Yahtzee. Look at that. Yes, perfect timing. I did not plan that. So 5 in a row, or 5 of a kind is Yahtzee. I think it's 50 points for that. And it's set collection. You try to get straights. You try to get 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, etc. A classic game, one that I'll always play, and I just love the fact that I have the cup noodles version now. A lot of fun. It's been around since 1956. Talk about OG. Edwin S. Lowe. I'm assuming they have long passed, so rest in peace, and thank you for creating Yahtzee, and thanks to the op for Yahtzee Cup Noodles. My number 13 is another OG. This one's from Klaus Tuber. This is Catan. Now, this particular version is the 25th anniversary edition. We partnered with Catan to play this during a Gaviola game night. Michelle, Amanda Pan, and I played. And this one's, there's a reason why it's the gateway game of modern times. People back in the day, I mean, when I was growing up, it was all about Monopoly. This has dice rolling, and I think people naturally tend to gravitate towards dice rolling, especially first-time gamers. But this one is more than just dice rolling. It's resource management, and you have the trading that, any... I feel like gateway games really encourage that type of player interaction. But you're trying to just, score 10 victory points, and there's a couple of different ways you do it. The 25th anniversary edition is the same as the regular standard game, but they do give you some upgraded components. Not upgraded components, but they give you a nice couple of card trays for the resource cards, and they give you sleeves. And it comes with expansions. Comes with a couple of mini expansions, which I think are great. We just played the base game. Wanted to highlight that, but there are the expansions where you get special player abilities, which I think are really, honestly, I feel like they should be included in the base game from now on. But Catan 25th Anniversary Edition, it may not be the hottest game out there, but I still enjoy playing it, especially with new gamers. It's fun to learn about resource management through this game. Are there other games I'd rather play? Well, of course, but again, there's a reason why this is still the biggest game out there as far as gateway games are concerned. So that is my number 13, Catan 25th Anniversary. Let's move on to my number 12, MicroMacro Crime City. Now, I did not play this game on stream. I played this off stream, and I'm going to show you something real quick here. That's my Instagram, folks, at Gaming with Ruel. This Instagram shows MicroMacro, the map. You get a map, and you're trying to solve crimes. You have a little magnifying glass that give you cards. But if you notice this, what I did was, instead of trying to stream it, here on Twitch, I figured why not just put it up on the wall in our hallway, on the way to, between our studio and the bathroom. And I have it against the wall. I'll put some painter's tape up so I can easily take it down. And I really enjoy this. I love just having this map here. And we have the cards. I put the little envelope with the cards right next to it. So just sort of hanging out and walking, back and forth. I'll take, we can take a little break, get outside the studio here and just solve crimes. This is, I think, the Kenner, was it the Kenner Spiel? One of the Spiel de Jar winners from a year or two ago, and for good reason. It's a wonderful deduction game, which I'm really not into it, but deduction style games anyways. But this one hit the rights for me. It's just really my jam, because it's got little drawings. It's super cute, and you're just trying to use a magnifying glass and trying to deduce what happened to, you know, who done it, basically. Really clever game. And yeah, there I am with my Metallica shirt. Yay, that's for my niece. She knows her Uncle Ruel loves that old school thrash metal, so shout out to my niece for the shirt. And that's number 12, MicroMacro Crime City. Now, there is they have a new one out called MicroMacro Crime City Full House, which I opened, but I haven't played it yet. That one's going to go up on the wall after I've finished this one. This one, I think I am like one more case is left. But yeah, this one, it was so funny. I just decided to do this randomly at like 11:30 at night one night. And it doesn't have the time. I don't know. It doesn't have the timestamp when I put this up. But it was late at night, and I ended up staying up way later than I thought I would, solving crimes. So it was a lot of fun. Okay, and let's continue with these are not my top 10 yet. We're doing all the other games I played, and number 11 is Cuphead, the fast rolling dice game. I love that. I love that name, the fast rolling dice game, because it is. Look at that clock there. You got 20 seconds or less if you want to go on hard mode to roll. You're just trying to match sets, and again, it was obviously influenced by Yahtzee, but Pat Marino's the designer. Yet another game from the Up that I enjoyed last year at Gen Con, but this year we've played it a couple times on stream because it's a blast. It really is. You're just trying to beat up the bad guy, the main baddie, like the boss guy. You have different phases. You're going to get collect tokens. You have health points. The parry tokens help you bring back you or your playing partners back to life, basically, when they get knocked out. And you just it's like campaign style, so you're going to go through and play, and you unlock different boxes. I think is there 8 or 12 boxes in the game. I actually just lent mine out to Amanda, who streamed it recently, but always a lot of fun. Real-time games have sort of taken a fall in my rankings. I find them maybe a little too stressful these days. I tend to go for more chill experiences these days, but you know, stuff like Fuse and now Cuphead, I always enjoy. I just because it's shorter in gameplay time, and I just think they're wonderful games. Okay, so let's get ready to go into the top 10 games I played in May. I'm gonna hydrate real quick, so thanks again for hanging out with me. Okay, top 10. These are it, folks. What are the top 10 games I played in May? Glad you asked, Ruel. Number 10 is Berried Treasure. Now, that's Berried, B-E-E-R-I-E-D. That is buried as in berry or a pie. Obviously, Suzanne Sheldon, working for Restoration Games, has had some kind of influence on this game. It's a game about grabbing pies, and it's a set collection game. Now, look at if you can see, well, for those of you watching, you can see the designers are Noah Cohen, Rob Daviau, Justin Jacobson, and Brian Neff, and Sid Saxon. Sid Saxon, folks, if you don't know, he's a legend in game design. He was so far ahead of his time. Now, the Restoration Games version just came out last year, 2021. The original version of Berried Treasure was from 1957, I think. I don't know the exact date, but it was long before I would assume many of us were born. And Sid Saxon, if you don't, the name's not familiar, if you played Can't Stop or Acquire, those are two of his biggest and greatest games. And Berried Treasure is a hidden gem or a buried treasure, right? This was they redid this a couple. It's funny to say, a couple of decades ago as Berried Treasure, as in a pirate game. And Restoration, as they do, they've taken an older classic game, one that's been out of print for a while, and brought it back, brought new life to it, and brought it back more in a way that's fitting for modern games. And Michelle and I loved it. It was wonderful. Now, two players who played, it's played a little differently. Basically, you take one card per turn, and depending on what it does, if there's a special ability, you'll get more cards. And then you're gonna, after all the cards from the tableau are gone, you're gonna score your pies. And each one, there's a different scoring, rules for each round. And at the end of 3 rounds, most points wins. we loved it. It's got the cute art, got the little grabby paws, and as you see there in the video, Michelle and I actually ate pie during our playthrough on Gaviola Game Night. Really love this one. It's about a 15 to 20 minute game, a perfect filler, and it's nuts. I like it. We'd like to look at it like it's a great game to end a game night with because it's dessert. So that's my number 10, played last month in May, Berried Treasure. Let's move on to my number 9. It is Mountains Out of Molehills. Wow, I played a lot of games from the op. That I don't know why. It's just one of those things that happen. But Mountains Out of Molehills. This is an abstract game in its heart. And what did I press here? Mountains Out of Molehills. I pressed the wrong button, friends. No, oops! I just gave you a sneak preview of what's next. I pressed the wrong button. So as I'm doing this live, folks. So for those of you listening on the podcast, and as I do this here on Twitch, all kinds of spoilers are coming out. Anyways. Number 9, Mountains Out of Molehills. Designers Jim DiCamillo and Patrick Marino. So Pat Marino again from the op. It's an abstract game at its heart, and it's a game of movement. And you're gonna draft movement cards. So you got card drafting. Then you're gonna move your little mole around there to do a little bit of set collection. You're trying to create mountains out of molehills. So as you can see there, it's a 3D board, sort of like that game Holy, but in the gameplay we did it 2D style. So we had the board flat on the table there, and as you move around, you're gonna pop up some little molehills, and you're trying to get them as high as possible, so it gives you more points. And it's a little area control with you and your opponent. You're basically fighting over each little section there. As you can see in the video here, Amanda's scoring it, and she scores for each one. And depends on who has the most or whoever's on the lowest end there will get the points, and then whoever's on top will get to go first the next round. A lot of fun. I like the fact that it's basically an abstract game, but with the cute little theme. Then you do have like a little, you have the dice rolling thing that sort of adds this tiny bit of randomness. So it's not strictly an abstract game because the little die there, if you run into it, you're going to do whatever the die does. Now it does have a little bit of programming, which is neat. So you're going to draft the cards, and then you're going to secretly put them in a little stack face down. Then you reveal them one at a time and program and move around there. So it's a really cool little game. I was actually surprised how much I liked it. I wasn't sure if this was for me or not, but I really enjoyed it. So that's my number 9, Mountains Out of Molehills. Let's continue the countdown here. These are the games that I played in May, friends. And the next one up is number 8 is Bandada. Bandada, I just like saying it, Bandada. This is a game that I backed on Kickstarter last year. It just came out recently. This is from Chase Step from Runman Games, just released this year. Kickstarters were fulfilled this year. And what I love about this game, it's a very quick playing engine building game with dice manipulation. So as you'll see here, whoops, let me bring this up a little bit. As you can see here, you have 3 sets of dice, different colors, and then the birds that come out are going to trigger different abilities. So when you take a bird, you're going to trigger the ability, and then on the bottom of the card it has a set collection element, and you're going to score. And you're going to do that every round until all the cards are depleted. It plays in 20 minutes. It has a really fun little solo mode that's even faster and quicker. But, I never feel like when I play Bandada, I never feel like, I'm just going through the motions. No, I actually have decisions to make. Am I going to try to manipulate a certain die to get scored on at the end of the round? Or can I do a re-roll dice based on what birds are out there? And then I'll have an end goal as well. It's so clever, and I love these fast engine building games. I think of stuff like Fantastic Factories, which I absolutely love. This one, again, it just distills that down even further into, Fantastic Factories is like 30 minutes or so. This is like 10 minutes solo. I'd imagine, like, Michelle and I played the prototype last year. Our game probably took 20 minutes, and that was on stream. So, off camera, I think we might have done it like 10 or 15. So, really cool game. You can still get it through their store. That's number 8, Bandada. And I like saying Bandada. It reminds me that, Antonio Banderas. I don't know why I always say it like that. I think, was it on a show or something? I don't know. Okay, let's continue here. My number 7 game played in May is A Mining Colony. This is from Steve Finn, Dr. Finn's Games. This was also during a Gaviola game night, a polyomino game. So y'all know how much I love polyomino games. And this is I played the solo version. It plays up to 4. It's got polyominoes. It's got resource management. It's puzzly. It's quick. Maybe 40 minutes, about 40 minutes to play the solo game. I thought it worked really well. You're just drafting and eventually building your tiles onto the red planet here. And as you build them, you're going to, grab gems and different ways to score. And in the solo game, it's interesting. You have to fill out the your entire board before time runs out, and you have to complete certain goals. And I did it on the very last turn. I was so excited. I'm sure chat had something to do with that. They always help me out when I play solo games. But this is a wonderful game. I'm looking. Have I played? I don't think Michelle and I played this one yet. So I need to play this one, folks. That's number 7, Mining Colony. I'm looking forward to the multiplayer game. It's a fantastic solo game, and I love Dr. Finn's games. They're just masters of that, 30 to 45 minute play time, even 20 minutes. I know her other games he's worked on have been much shorter than 40 minutes. So that's my number 7. I'm going to hydrate again real quick. I want to thank everyone who joined me live as I go through my list. Again, I'm doing this for the podcast, and I'm hoping will be out soon as I learn how to upload stuff to podcasting platforms and maybe even do a little editing. So let's continue our move through our look at the top games I played in May. Number 6 is Word Domination. Now, y'all know me. I love my word games, and this one was basically an auto love for me. It takes a word game like Scrabble, mashes it up with area control. Boy, oh boy, I loved it so much. Now, I got this through Fowers Games. It's actually published by Uproarious Games, so I think they partnered with Fowers to get a more distribution. Jeff Beck has come up with a winner here. You have a display of letter tiles there, and each letter you're going to use, you're going to, in your word, you just come up with a word, you put your little token on it, and then you've started your area control. Now, when another player comes on there and spells their word, they can kick you off if you have one of your tokens there. But if you come back to your turn, you get another token on that same letter, you have now stolen that letter. It goes to you. You can use that letter on any word from now on. It's yours only. And if it's one of the, I forgot the name of it, the black letters. So they're all blue, and then there's certain random ones that are black. They give you special abilities that can mess with your opponents or help you spell words. Or boy, oh boy, it's so good. And in solo mode, I've streamed it a couple of times solo. Love it. You're basically trying to complete a goal where you use all the tiles on the board, and every time it's like the theme is you're a bag of baddies, and you're trying to ruin the Eiffel Tower, and you have 4 legs there. Each leg has 6 letters. You're trying to use all the letters, and when you do, you have tourists that come up, which are more letters. And depending on how hard or easy you play it, you can only have so many tourists in front of you. Wow, the solo mode was a lot tougher than I thought. So I think I sold it like 5 times, only won twice. And once was on stream, which is great. Thanks to our friends and my friends in chat helped me out with the word spelling the words. So I love word games, and this is one that I played on my Words on Wednesday show, which is every other Wednesday. I play word-based games on Twitch, including crosswords, the daily Wordle, and so forth. And Word Domination is my number 6 in May. So good. I love it. Number 5 is a Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. This was a paid preview that I did for Mariposa Games. Designer Dan Rice has come up with a winner here. And this is the playthrough I did with my buddy Daryl B. Gaiman. It was a 2-player game. We really enjoyed it. This is got that sort of parks or trails feel to it if you played those games. Those are wonderful, I would say, Gateway and Gateway Plus games, especially with the expansion. This one, I would say, it takes it to that next level. It's more strategy-based. You are walking along the Sierra Nevada mountain range. You have 12 days to traverse the entire John Muir Trail. Along the way, you're going to be, collecting. You're going to be seeing birds and wildlife. You're going to collect those as photographs. You have a backpack that you're going to grab resources from, and that allows you to travel further. You're also going to be collecting landscape photos as you explore certain areas, and the whole thing is, I mean, it's worker placement and resource management at its heart. And wow, it's beautiful. If you're watching this, you can see it's Andrew Bosley art, absolutely gorgeous. And this one was a prototype, but it's pretty close to final form, because I thought the art is just spectacular, and we really enjoyed it. It's probably like about an hour-long game, maybe a little longer than that. But it's, if you're a fan of worker placement, and I don't do the outdoors much anymore. I used to do hikes. This is a wonderful way to get your hike fix satisfied through the wonderful world of board games. That's why it's our number 5. My number 5, Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. Okay, moving and right along, folks. Moving. Number 4 is... What was number 4? My number 4 was another word game. Imagine that, Paperback. I love word games. Paperback's my all-time favorite word game. It's deck building meets Scrabble. Dominion meets Scrabble. And I played this a couple of times last month. I soloed it. I actually soloed it. This is part of Gaviola Game Night, the extended live stream we do once a month. I started with a solo game of Paperback. And thanks to chat, I didn't think I was going to win the game. So you're trying to get all of the point value cards, the victory point cards before a certain round limit. And I was getting really close, but thankfully chat came up with some great words. Just like a standard deck builder, you play 5 cards, and then you're going to generate income that's going to allow you to buy more cards, and those cards go into your deck, which are more powerful, which generate more income, and allow you to get those victory point cards. As you'll see here, those who watch on the video, you can see that on the right side here, the victory point cards are a little pyramid, and you sort of like Seven Wonders Duel, you can only access the top, the ones that are that have no other cards on top of them. And as you buy those victory point cards, you're going to clear out ways to get the higher victory point cards. And the victory point cards, they're, just like Dominion, double-edged sword. Yay, you get the points. Boo, they don't do anything for you except be wild. They don't generate income or anything. It's a masterpiece of design. It's for me, it's never going to leave my collection. My favorite word game, Paperback. And I've played this a couple of times on Words on Wednesday. Yet another plug for my bi-weekly show every other Wednesday, where I play word-based games. That's number 4. Love it so much, Paperback. I'm going to hydrate real quick. And now let's get to the top of the order, folks. Number 3, 2, and 1. My number 3 game that I loved so much last month. It is On Tour Paris and New York, and specifically Paris. This one I got to play with Rahdo on his channel. Very excited about that. Rahdo, we partnered with BoardGameTables.com for a paid preview of Paris. And if you know On Tour, this is pretty much the same game. But it takes one little thing and adds it and increases the complexity just by adding this one simple thing. That's the river right in the middle. You're going to have to cross back and forth to access different parts of Paris, north and south. And as you do, you're going to knock off those little boats that you have there. And the little boats allow you to travel back and forth. So there's going to be times when you take a boat across, and it's like, oh no, I need to get back across here. But the numbers, again, just like in On Tour, they have to be ascending. Really, really fantastic game. I love how it's ramped up things in On Tour. This one's definitely more complex, but it doesn't add like a ton of rules. Now, Rahdo was saying the New York one adds way more rules and is way more complex, but I think this might be sort of like that nice go-between base On Tour, and then going, next step is Paris, and the next step after that is New York. So it's really cool to see what they've done with that. I really enjoyed it, and even though I had a prototype, I played it several times off camera when we didn't play, and you just roll dice, and whatever number's there, you have to figure out a place to place it, and once you place it, you're gonna, at the end after you fill out everything, you're gonna trace a path of ascending numbers without while going back and forth on the map without looping through the same city twice. So just like the original, but even better. That's On Tour Paris. Now it is called Paris in New York, but it is On Tour Paris is the one that I focus on. Okay, 2 left, folks. What are my number 2 and 1 games that I played in May? Glad you asked, Ruel. Number 2 is the Guild of Merchant Explorers. This Rahdo said, he said it's his favorite game he's played so far in 2022. It's one of my favorites as well. I'm still trying to figure out what my favorites are, but this is fantastic. It has a feel of Kingdom Builder meets Tiny Towns. So, Kingdom Builder, you have a map, you're trying to expand through it and get certain goals, but it's got little tiny towns where you flip over cards and everybody, bingo style, plays that card. But you're going to play differently, of course, depending on where you want to go on your map. Michelle and I did a paid preview of this during our Tabletop Live Network stream. I thought Michelle would like it, but I wasn't sure how much she would. She loved it. I think she might have loved it more than I did, which was really cool to see. On your turn, flip over a card. Everyone places cubes or explorer cubes on your map. And, what's neat about this game, what I really appreciate about it is, you look at the map, and as you start playing the game, you're like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to get to the corner of that map. It's too far. But as you go along, you're going to build villages, when you complete regions. And those villages on subsequent rounds allow you to start there. So you will eventually reach all corners of the map if you choose to. But what's really neat, what really sets this game, apart, is every round you're going to have an era card. Those era cards allow you to grab an investigation card. You'll choose 2, keep 1. And those cards give you special abilities, really different ways that you can fill out your map. And everyone gets different ones at different points in the game. It's wonderful. And then you have those common goals, a race to finish the 3 different goals. First one gets 10, second one gets 5. You're just trying to get the most victory points or coins. It plays in like 30 to 45 minutes. It can be a quick game, and it plays solo as well. I love solo games like this where it's basically the same as the multiplayer game. So good. This could have easily been my number 1, but it is my number 2. Another hit by Matthew Dunstan, Brett J. Gilbert from AEG. They keep knocking it out of the park, and I'll keep hyping it because I love them so much. My number 2 for the month, the Guild of Merchant Explorers. Okay. So we've got 1 game left to play. I'm going to hydrate yet again. 1 game left to talk about. What is my number 1 game play? Now, at the start of May 4th exactly, folks. It's a special day for Star Wars fans. Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And there's no way I could not place this in my number 1. It is Star Wars Outer Rim. From Fantasy Flight Games, Corey Canicia, I always mess up his name, my apologies, and Tony Fanchi. Corey, if you know the name, he is one of the developers for one of my all-time favorite games, Twilight Imperium, originally by Christian Peterson, but Corey worked on the 4th edition. I think he might have worked on the 3rd as well, but Star Wars Outer Rim, wow, where do I start? Basically, its heart is pick 'em and deliver. You are playing as players as scoundrels in that outer rim where all the scum and villainy are hanging out. Of course, I had to play this on Star Wars Day. I think I played Han Solo versus Jyn Erso, and the solo games were really easy to pick up. This game, it's so thematic, and like other Fantasy Flight games, I'm going to be honest, it may go a bit long for what it is. But, I don't care. The fact that there's so many Star Wars references to it, you're flying around the galaxy, you're upgrading your ship, you can eventually get the Millennium Falcon or, any of the other famous ships there. You're going to run into characters from the movies, and it's so good. I loved it. I played a solo game on May the 4th, Star Wars Day. I got it. I think I got to like 90 minutes in. I didn't want to go over 90 minutes. It was my first time playing it. So I, at the end, there's no way I was going to win. So I sort of called the game after a little while. There's dice rolling in it. There's ways to mitigate the dice. You're trying to pick up contracts to deliver certain items or even people or goods to other parts of the galaxy. You fly around your ship. Oh my gosh, so good. I loved it. I'm curious to see how it plays at 4 players, max player count. My buddy Derek Funkhauser from the Board Game Spotlight podcast, he loved it at 4 players. He hasn't played it solo. He doesn't really do solo games, but I loved it as a solo game. So I'm curious to see how it goes with more players. Star Wars Outer Rims, absolutely loved it. One of my all-time favorites. And there's my list, friends. The top 10 games I played in May. Thank you so much for hanging out with me as I do my podcast version live here on Twitch. That's hopefully it's going to become a regular thing. So that's the top games I played in May 2022. Now I'm here hanging out with y'all. Any questions or AMAs or anything? I'm going to catch up on chat. My apologies for sort of ignoring chat while I did that, but I wanted to power through it, and I'm going to take the audio out of that section and then redo it as a podcast. But if anyone has any questions or just wants to chat, I'm going to catch up on chat right now. Let's see what people have to say. Oh, wow, there's a bunch. Okay, well, thank you, folks, for all the comments. Let's see. And we have a raid coming in. Thank you so very wrong about games. Thank you for the raid. I'm going to get my rating helmet because we do analog alerts here. My name's Ruel Gaviola. There's the rating helmet. Thank you so very wrong about games. Let me know what you played in chat. Here in chat, let me know what you played. We do analog alerts. This is the fancy raid helmet for 2022. My hat is off to you, friend. Thank you for the raid. What I just did right now, I was recording and streaming my so very wrong about games. I'm reading my activity feed on Twitch. I was just streaming my top 10 games of May 2022. My number one game played last month was Star Wars Outer Rim. Spoiler alert. You can check out the rest of it. What I'm doing, you can check out the rest of it on the VOD, or what I'm doing here is I'm going to be taking the audio and making a podcast out of this. So thank you for the follow, MCP Live. I appreciate that. Again, another analog alert we have here is Felicia the Follow Fish. Felicia shows up and swims around and says hello to new followers, and then she swims away. And all of us, including y'all in chat, we say, bye, Felicia. Thanks for the follow, MCP Live. And Board Game Garden says, I've been here lurking while... Oh, thank you, Jenna. Good to see you. Thank you. Always happy to see you. Folks, if you don't follow Jenna, she is a fantastic streamer over there on Board Game Garden. The Board Game Garden. The Board Game. Please check her out if possible. And also, so very long, we were playing Switch and Signal. Ooh, that one I'm curious about. How was it? Let me know. Mayor Canada, playing a Star Wars game solo. Get it? Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mayor Canada, I did not play that, or I did not do that on purpose, but you, my friend, are awesome. Thank you. Mayor Canada asks, are you headed to Origins today? No, unfortunately, I had to cancel my trip to Origins. I've got family stuff I'm taking care of here this weekend and next. But yeah, so I had to cancel. So what I'm doing is, if any publishers or any people want to connect with me, I'm just doing Zoom meetings. I've got a Calendly set up, and I'm just taking appointments there. I did not use the expansion, so very wrong about games. I just played the base game. This was back on May 4th. It was my first time playing it. So I basically learned it on camera, and I really enjoyed it. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I love the original trilogy. I'm of that age where the original trilogy is my jam, but I do love new stuff. Mandalorian's one of the greatest things ever of Star Wars, and I'm really enjoying Kenobi as well. Yes, let's see. I'm continuing here on chat. So happy to have Board Game Garden lurking. Big fan of Jenna's. And N20 Games, great question. What are you looking forward to this month? Well, unfortunately, I was looking forward to Origins, but no longer that. What I'm looking forward to this month, I've got two big things here. I've got, let me see if I can bust this out here. Here's this one. The one this thing is so heavy. Burn Cycle. I will be doing a paid preview of this. I think it's not this coming Monday, the following. I'll post it on Discord when I'm doing it. But this one, it's a beast. I mean, it's just so heavy. And I did an unboxing of this. You can check out the VODs. But component-wise, I mean, some of the most awesome components ever. Neoprene mats throughout the whole thing. Poker chip style resources. Oh my gosh. So good. So that's Burn Cycle. The other one, I meant to play it last month, but it got pushed back because of a bunch of things, and I wasn't feeling well last month for a certain period of time, so I had to push it back. but it's another beast. Being set up right now. Viticulture with the expansion, the world expansion. I've got the wine crate. So I did an unboxing of that, but I'm gonna play the game hopefully this week. I was trying to get it played on this Wednesday for tabletop tonight. So we'll see if that's gonna happen. Another one I'm looking forward to. It's a thing I'm doing for Rahdo's channel called Brett Valda. It's a 4X game. He doesn't do many 4X games on his channel. It's not his style of game. So I'm excited to bring that onto his channel. But yeah, thanks for the comment, N20 or question. Yep, what games we're looking forward to? Yep, the Monster Game Berserk I've been seeing. Yeah, it is a beast. It's serious. I want to say it's like 25 pounds. I lost the shipping label that had the weight on it, but oh man, it is. I mean, it's heavy. It's heavy. Continue on chat here. Anyone else? What are y'all up to? Stream sex. What are you eating or drinking? I've got Felicia the Followfish. We had the raid helmet. Did y'all have a good weekend? There was tabletop or International Tabletop Day. Sort of. I don't know if it's. I mean, it was started by Geek and Sundry back in the day. They since have, they don't do it anymore, but people have taken up the mantle and they're doing it on their own. Still celebrating Tabletop Day, and I know there's a local event here. I'm not doing public events right now, but I know friends that were at that, and they look like they had a good time. I saw Ark Nova being played. I'm jealous. I love that game. Spitzka, Tabletop Day was this past Saturday, from what I understand. And I know that there's, people, no one's actually bought the Tabletop Day thing from, I don't know if it was Geek and Sundry that owns it, or maybe Legendary owns it now when they bought them out. I'm not sure who owns it now, but I'm not sure if they're like supporting it. But one thing I do want to shout out is Gen Cant. So Gen Cant is later in this year in August. Now that is an offshoot of Gen Con, and something that Suzanne and I forgot who else put it together. Well, Suzanne Sheldon's one of the organizers of it, and it's basically a way for people who can't make it to Gen Con to celebrate and to play games, being Gen Cant, right? And we've done a couple of local events here. I don't know if my friends are going to be doing it this year, probably, but people from everywhere celebrate Gen Con by doing their local Gen Cant events. There's a bunch of online stuff, and there are contests. A lot of fun, and I hope y'all can check that out. Just Google Gen Cant, GENCANT, and that'll be during the Gen Con weekend. Slivers, I want to see you and family play Decorum Live. Oh, that would be fun. Oh yeah, that game. Now, I always say deduction games are not my jam because I suck at them, but that one would be fun because there's this natural element of role playing to it. So it's like, you're trying to get certain elements in certain rooms, and it's like when you play something, you can totally start role playing. Well, I don't know if I like that painting in that room, or that doesn't match the walls or stuff like it. It's a lot of fun. N20 Games asks, yes, did you open your baseball cards yet? Build your team. I did. These are the cards I bought the other day. I was so pumped about Dead Ball, which fully funded this past weekend, and I backed it, and I basically took these random baseball cards. I opened it up on live. You can check out the VOD N20 either here or on my YouTube channel. And I pulled a bunch of baseball cards. I built a team, and I played a couple of innings. Then I ended up playing the game off air, completed the game. So I had a team led by Aaron Judge and another team led by, who was it? Aaron Judge. Oh, Mike Trout. So then they played against each other. I think Mike Trout's team lost. I think it was Aaron Judge's team. It was like 9-2. But a lot of fun. I'm hoping to join a Dead Ball baseball league that Derek Funkhauser is putting together. We're gonna stream it. I don't know if it's gonna be on my channel or his channel, maybe both. And then he's starting a league, so I want to see that happen, and I'm gonna be stoked on that. There's actually some talk. I'm hoping we can start something in a Discord channel with all our friends. And I just threw it out there to James and Legends. I don't know if they're. I think James backed it. I don't know if Legends into baseball or not, but it's a solo game that you can totally play by yourself. I mean, I've played several just with the basic rules, and the full rule set is going to be delivered soon, and I can't wait for that. Anyway, I was there for the Dead Ball baseball. It was awesome. Didn't you buy a big? I did. I did buy a box of baseball cards as well. This one here. the Topps baseball from 89? Yeah, 1989 complete set though. So that means it has the A's and Dodgers. The Dodgers won in '88 with Oral Hershiser and then Gibson's home run. So I want to pull those and replay that series as well. I think it'd be fun. Corthay, thank you for the question. Favorite game component to upgrade? Favorite game component to upgrade? Wow. Coins are the easy one, I think. Because you can, I have a set of viticulture coins, which I just love. So I'll use those for other games. But let me see. Upgraded meeples are nice. You know what? I always enjoy a good insert because it's just nice to have them organized. And let me think. What other? I love playmats. I think playmats are so nice. And they're always flat, right? With cardboard sometimes. I mean, gosh, that is so good. I'm going to have to say, I'm looking at the games behind me. So if you don't know, in the studio here, it's actually our old guest room. And our closet has mirrors. So I'm looking straight ahead and I can see right behind me. And I'm looking here as far as what component. I don't really bling out my games that much. I'm all about blinging on the cheap. So, I'm going to say that. I'm going to go with this. Favorite game component to upgrade? I'm not actually going to answer that question. I'm going to answer what I like to do is go on the cheap. So I like to go to Dollar Tree and places like that and just do random little things. Normally, like these little containers. Like this one here for my dice. I probably got these at Daiso. So it's like $1.50 for 5 or 6 of these or whatever. But I like to use these for components, just to separate everything. And it's really nice. It's super easy to pop open. Baggies, Daiso has like thicker baggies that I like to use. So, yeah, I like to go on the cheap. One of my favorite components I ever got, I got this idea from, gosh, I forgot who it was. I stole it from them. I took a little tea light that I got at Dollar Tree. And the game, what is the game? The one with the volcano. Downfall of Pompeii. I take that little tea light, I pop it in the volcano. It looks like it's lit up. That's my all-time favorite. So, thank you for that question, Corthane. Hey, we got some good ones coming here. We're going to answer all of these here. Favorite game to play at a restaurant? For a while, it was Love Letter. I would always carry Love. That was years ago. I would carry Love Letter. The one now, it's always got to be like a small footprint game, right? Because you have limited space. Honestly, because we haven't really done much restaurant eating these days because of the pandemic, haven't really had a chance to play that many games. But it's always going to be something you can carry in your pocket. And these days, I'm thinking like button shy games. Sprawlopolis is one. But even those take up some room on the table. So that's why Love Letter was so good, right? And I'll say, how about this? My favorite game, I haven't played it yet, but it's going to be my favorite game to play at restaurant, is Love Letter, the Star Wars edition. It's still Love Letter, you're just playing cards, but it's Star Wars, and it's got a little, some different things added to it as well as far as mechanisms. So that's going to be my favorite moving forward here. Thank you, Corthane. Okay, let's see. I've been really wanting to get some Meeple. Oh yeah, Meeple stickers too. Yeah, I haven't done that. I've only done it for like viticulture. Was it viticulture? No. Gosh, maybe I haven't done it. I remember seeing the ones for viticulture. I may not have actually done those. Because, you buy a sheet. Wow, say that 5 times. A sheet of stickers for Meeples. And, instead of just plain Meeples, now they look like little Meeple people, right? Yeah, I don't know if I know I have the Meeples in viticulture that were screen printed. Some of the, from the expansion. That's what I'm thinking of. But that is neat, yeah. Question, since you have brought up baseball last opportunity, how long till you make baseball buttons with... Ooh! Corthane. Wow. You just gave me an idea, my friend. I like that. A little baseball and then put the logo on there. Oh. Wow. Hey, by the way, since y'all are here, you want to know a secret? A little spoiler alert. I just had stickers made up of Tabletop tonight. They're just black and white stickers with a splash of red in them, just the logo, but I'm going to have those real soon. I ordered them last week. That's probably another week or two till they get here. Super excited about that. So I'll find out a way to, I'm going to send a bunch out, but I'll find a way to get y'all some stickers as well. So stick around. I like the idea of the baseball logo though, Corthane. Ooh, That is, ooh. Let's see. Any other things here? Slivers says, oh, Hanama Koji, their favorite. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, because that does, I mean, it doesn't take up too much space. I love that game. I might have to play that game soon. Yeah, now my wheels are turning here. The hamster wheel's turning. Trying to figure out when we can play. So Michelle and I really enjoyed that game when it first came out. But Metal Coins N20 says, yeah, that's always a good upgrade. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up, folks. We're gonna spread the love. We're gonna raid someone. Let's see who's available to raid. And as I always say, who can we raid now? Y'all know that song? I know that's another old reference, old 80s reference. Who is playing board games right now? Is anyone playing board games? I mean, So Very Wrong Games just rated us. There's a bunch of non-English board game channels. Let's see. Men at Work, thank you. Yes, good call, Slivers. Very nice. Let's see. Meta Monday. What is this? They are the Shuffle. I don't know what that is. Anyone see any board game channels out there? There are not that many people talking about board games right now. Old 80s hedge. Oh boy, what spoiler. What is that? Okay, that's in German. I don't know what that is. Meta Monday with, what is this? Shuffle? I have no idea. I just randomly, let's see. What's Luke? Oh, I haven't paraded Luke in a while. Luke is playing Metro 23 Redo. That's my friend Luke in the Philippines. Well, I don't know. We're not friends, but he's rated me a couple of times. I rated him a couple of times, but he's in the Philippines. And right now, the Philippines, it is, what time is it? It's 9 a.m. out here, so that means they're 15 hours ahead. So 9 p.m. Wait, is that like midnight already? Back the next day? Oh my gosh. We're gonna raid Luke, folks. Let's go. Slivers joins in banging head against the dad. Luke's playing what looks like a first-person shooter. I'm going to send you over to Luke, folks. Let's say hi to Luke, shall we? And show him some love. Good guy, prolific streamer. He streams a ton, and we're going to send him over there. Want to thank you all again for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. We're going to see if this podcast thing works out or not. Hopefully it does. But I do appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful week. What else do I got planned this week? I've got tomorrow with Rahdo, we're doing our... Ooh, is tomorrow the big day? We might be doing our top 10 of all time list. Yeah, I think... Oh my gosh, is that it? Folks, join us tomorrow, Rahdo's channel. And we're going to finish out our top 100 games of all time with our top 10. So, and then I've got a couple other streams. If you're in the... Please join our Discord. One last time, there's the link. Join it there. I announce all the live streams there. And have a wonderful day, folks. Have a wonderful week. And I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much. I'm going to start the raid here in just a second, and stick around for the raid to get points and stuff. Bye everybody, have a wonderful week, and again, I'll see you soon. All right.